Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here playing Frog Detective the entire mystery. Welcome to another 100% achievement walkthrough for a game in Xbox Game Pass. This game was previously available for PC Game Pass, but it recently also launched on console, allowing an even bigger audience to play it. If you were just looking to enjoy the game as is, it would probably take you closer to 4 hours. If you were to follow a normal walkthrough, it might take you closer to 2 hours, but we'll be using a couple of in-game cheats that allow us to skip levels, and this video will last about an hour. Luckily, the completion is pretty straightforward and requires almost no skill, but feel free to go to the options and change your inverted look controls or your FOV before you start. Once you're ready, choose Case 1, the Haunted Island. Because this is the entire mystery, it does include the entire trilogy, so Frog Detective 1, 2, and 3. Once you spawn in, get used to the controls. You're going to move around with the left stick, look around with the right stick, just like any other first-person game. And when available, choose the phone in the middle of the room. And when you start the conversation, you can tap A to get through it as quickly as possible. We will have to make some dialogue choices later on in the game, but I'll explain those when we get to them. For now, just get through this conversation as quickly as you can. Once the conversation is done, you'll snap back into the room, and then you want to go and pick up the magnifying glass in the corner of the room, thus unlocking your first achievement. Congratulations! Don't forget to drop a like on the video if I helped you get this far. With the magnifying glass, you can use the right trigger to use it, and then you can interact with the doorknob to leave the room and begin your adventure, launching into a little bit of a cinematic. I'll rejoin you with commentary once it's over. Also, thanks to AJ for recording the footage used in this video. You can check out their True Achievements profile in the description below. Now, as soon as you gain control of your character on the Haunted Island, what you want to do is basically immediately turn around and interact with the boat in the water that you used to get here. If you do that, your little frog friend will do a little frog dance on the boat, thus unlocking your first achievement or trophy. From there, you can exit on out and head across the beach towards these two characters over here, and you want to start by talking to the lobster, Larry. Go through the conversation as quickly as possible. I will let you know if there are any specific dialogue choices you need to make. The first thing you can ask him about are the noises. After that, continue through with the dialogue and keep it going. He will give you a little bit of a list of the ingredients, but during the first option there, you do want to choose ingredients, and he will repeat them. You can then choose explosion, and you can get a little bit more information about the case, and then after that, you can choose nothing right now. After that conversation, you want to go and walk on over to kind of the middle of the island where all of the trees are, and I hope you know your animals. There's quite a few of them. We're going to talk to the mouse in the back. Once we do talk to the mouse, you're going to want to get through the conversation about as quickly as you can by just tapping the A button quite quickly. The first little dialogue choice, it will click You're Nervous, which is automatically the first one at the top of the list. After that, take the next 5 seconds to get through the conversation, and when prompted, choose Nothing Right Now to exit the conversation. We'll come back to the mouse and talk to them in a bit. From the mouse, head back towards the beach, take a left-hand turn a little bit here, and not far from the boat you can find the little monkey man. Let's engage in a conversation with them for a bit, tabbing through everything as quickly as we want to. And then when we do have the conversation, you want to choose dance styles. This will allow you to learn a little monkey dance move. I believe you'll also learn a monkey fact, and this is what we need in order to make a little bit more progress. With our new monkey fact, which is now available as an item in the top right corner of our screen, we can move back towards the mouse in the little jungle near the middle of the island. Engage in a conversation with them, and when prompted, choose dance styles. This should basically complete this kind of mini quest line, and then they will present you with some mouthwash, which we can use for the kind of next couple of steps. You'll also see that the mouse starts to dance, but from there we can head back to the beach, and just past the lobster and past the bear, you can find this sunbathing crocodile, I think, and you can engage in a conversation with them. During the first option, you want to choose your smile. For the second part of the conversation, you do want to choose mouthwash, and then this should trade the mouthwash for toothpaste, and we have our first ingredient. With our first ingredient out of the way, let's go grab our second one. Navigate to the middle of the island, just off to the right, leaning against a tree. You can find a broom. This is not the ingredient, but we need it to trade for one of the ingredients. So now that you have the broom, walk back to the beach. As you exit onto it, take a left-hand turn, and then underneath this kind of hut next to some science equipment, you can find what I believe is the sheep or the lamb, and you can talk to them about their wool for a bit. For this conversation, both of the things you need to choose will be at the top, but essentially we are going to be able to trade the broom for the wool for our second ingredient. With the broom traded for the wool, let's go back to the center of the island, and we are going to talk to the King Sloth, who is kind of on the right-hand side there, and start a conversation with them for a bit. During their conversation, the first thing you want to choose is your nerves, which is the fourth of many options during the first little dialogue tree. After that, you'll have quite a long and extensive conversation with them, lasting tens of seconds. They will give you a brick of pure gold, and after that, you can exit the conversation at your earliest convenience. With the pure gold, head back towards the sheep, which is on the left-hand side, and on the table, not far from them, you can grab the magnet, so make sure you pick that up. We need that item. With the magnet, turn around and head towards the water and talk to the koala that is swimming. Get through this conversation with them for a bit. They'll mention things about the magnet now that you have it, and you can choose the magnet during the conversation tree in order to basically trade them for a shell. Now that you have the shell from the koala, let's turn around and head into the middle area again. And let's go talk to this first dude here, which I believe is a duck named Orbit. and they will be interested in the shells that we just got. During the conversation tree, you want to choose tiny shells. This will allow you to proceed and make more progress. But then after that, on the second option, you want to choose big shell. After you trade them the shell, they will give you the magnifying glass. With the magnifying glass, you can return towards the lobster and talk to the bear named Bernie. And this is another slightly longer than usual conversation, but during the conversation, you want to choose the option Secret Agent, which will be the middle option of 3. During the second option, you do want to choose magnifying glass, so make sure you do that. And then they will trade you some pasta. And this should also unlock you the Hustled Hard achievement. After that, you can talk to Larry the Lobster right next to him. During that conversation, you have to make 2 choices. Choose Explosion, and then choose Yes. This will complete this kind of first little chapter of the game. If it's not immediately obvious, by the way the conversations work is that even if you click the wrong one, you can just cycle through the conversation again to choose the one you actually need. After that, just skip through the dialogue and then allow the little cutscene to play out. Once you regain control of your character, there's only one way to go, and that is directly in front of you. Walk down the path, and you'll meet Finley at the end of the path, and that should also unlock you an achievement. Once you do reach Finley, you can just get through the conversation as quickly as possible. Upon exiting the cave, we will be doing some of the easiest gameplay you've ever done in your life. For the next several minutes, all we'll be doing is having a conversation, sitting back and relaxing and enjoying song and dance. So I will rejoin you with commentary in several minutes from now, but all you really need to worry about is just allowing the dance party to happen, and at the end we get to choose a winner, and that's roughly where I will rejoin you with the beautiful sounds of my voice. Now, at the end of the song and dance, you are allowed to pick a winner. For the purposes of this video, we are going to pick the mouse. That will unlock us an achievement, and this is a little bit of a fake out in terms of the ending, and you'll know that just based even on the achievement name. At this point, you'll launch into a loading screen, and we're going to end up kind of cycling back towards the house we were at in the very beginning with the red phone. And once we do spawn in, the red phone should start ringing. And all we want to do is pick up the red phone. This will start a conversation with the supervisor again, and you want to scrub through that conversation as quickly as you feel like scrubbing through it, because as it ends, it will end up finishing case 1, the haunted island, and then it'll begin case 2, which is the case of the invisible wizard. This will kind of bring you back to the main menu of the game, and we can continue from there. Once you're brought back to the case selection screen, another achievement should unlock. If you want to do an achievement check, we are at 6 out of 18 for 300 out of 1,000. This should also put a little sticker on the case, and now we can select the middle one, which is case 2, the case of the invisible wizard. Click on through to that, and then click play when you are ready to go. This one is by far the longest one in the game in terms of doing this specific walkthrough where we're going for achievements. When you do load in, you'll be greeted with a familiar scene. You'll be in the room, wait for the phone to ring, and then tab through the conversation with the supervisor. After grabbing the magnifying glass, you'll have to equip it with the right trigger, use it on the door in order to kind of reveal the doorknob. Open the doorknob and walk through to reveal the lobster cop. This should start a little bit of a cutscene, and I'll rejoin you shortly enough. You will then have a short conversation with the lobster cop, and once it's done, you should be right near their room. And once you gain control of your character, go up to their desk and interact with the notebook. Once you interact with the notebook, you'll be able to place a sticker on the front. We're going to just grab the frog here, place it somewhere on the front, and then click I'm done and say, yep, that's a good book. You'll then get the notebook, you'll get an achievement, and we'll be on our way. You can also open up your notebook with X, and then you can actually go through the pages. We may or may not need this later. Once you put the notebook away, you can go into the hallway and start walking towards the front door. Open the door with the doorknob, and this will begin basically the kind of introduction cutscene into Chapter 2. So I'll let you enjoy that in this video and rejoin you when you get to control the character again. Once you do gain control of your character, you'll notice that the Warlock Woods are directly in front of you. So head forward and we're going to start collecting some pies. There's a stage right near the middle, and just to the left of that stage, you can pick up a pie and it will kind of get placed into your notebook. We'll have to collect quite a few here. So after the first lost pie, you can close your notebook and then continue to the booth at the very back. You can find another pie underneath the desk here. After that, you can kind of turn around and you'll notice a third pie not far from this kind of hot tub behind a building. Once you have 3 pies, you can look up to find the deer and you will talk to them. Their name is Victor, and we'll have quite a lengthy conversation with Victor. The conversation will be primarily centered around pies, but the first thing we're going to ask about is about the wizard. Continue cycling through the conversation until he gives you 1 money. And then after that, you can give him the item, which is a lost pie. Now, unfortunately, Victor, being a clever deer, knows that these pies were found on the ground, and he is absolutely not interested in them. But luckily, this should unlock the gross achievement. The lost pies will eventually end up going to Mandy, but we'll do that once we're ready. You're also going to add a whole bunch of information about Victor to your notebook automatically after you're done talking to him, and then you can close it and continue. After this, talk to Victor again, and let's just exhaust all of his dialogue options. Select about last night first, and then after that goes through, select the second option in the list, which is what did you need? And then after that, you can just select nothing, not now. So let's go and talk to Ralph the Lion, who is just around the corner, not far from the entrance of Warlock Woods. And let's start a little bit of a conversation with them. Once available, feel free to choose the top option, which is about the wizard. During the second dialogue option, you do want to ask him about his eye. If you haven't noticed, he is wearing an eye patch. And then at the end of the conversation, you can end it by saying nothing, not now. And once this conversation is done, similar to the last one, you will add Ralph to your little notebook, including his motive, his needs, and some extra notes about him. We are then going to turn to the right to find Susan the cat across the kind of walkway there, very nearby. We're also going to exhaust all of the dialogue options with Susan here. So on the first option, choose the top one, which is about the wizard again. Then you can choose another option. And once you can't really choose anything new, you can choose nothing right now. And then eventually you'll back out and fill your notebook up with some information about Susan. Close the notebook, and then right near Susan's house, just to the right of it, you can find a flower pot, and inside of that, you can find another lost pie. So grab that, and not far from this pie, the closest person to you will be Mary the Rhino. And for Mary the Rhino, you probably know the drill by now. Let's go and talk to them and exhaust all of the possible dialogue options with them. Ask them about the wizard and all of the other questions we can until we can fill out our notebook with some extra information about Mary. So here you'll find that Mary is motivated by money, but let's close that binder for now, turn around, and behind the stage, you'll be able to find Mandy, who I'm not quite sure, maybe in the comments down below you can let me know. I think she's an anteater potentially, and we're going to talk to her. She is our lost pie lady, and we're going to have to actually have our conversation with her in order to be able to kind of complete her quest line. So choose about the pies, then choose the second option. At some point during the conversation, you'll be able to give her the 4 pies that we've already collected. So make sure you do that, although that's not all of them. And then you'll be able to end the conversation and fill out your notebook with more information about Mandy. We've given her 4 of the 5 pies that she needs. So the final pie will only spawn after you talk to Mandy, but once you have all her information down in the notebook, head back into the Warlock Woods path that we used to gain access into the area. On the left-hand side, you should be able to see the pie on a light post, and then we can now get the lost pie, add it to our notebook here, close the notebook, and then bring it back to Mandy. Once we start the conversation with her, choose the Give Lost Pies option in order to basically close this out. This quest line will reward us with 1 money, so now we have 2 monies, and she also likes us enough that she will give us a nice fresh pie, which you may or may not already know what we're about to do with it. So we unlocked the gross achievement earlier by trying to feed the deer a floor pie. Now we have a fresh pie, so let's go and visit him kind of behind that little house in the jacuzzi. And then we can give him a fresh pie. He should be very happy that this pie is not a floor pie and will therefore reward us with the best reward of all, a party hat. With that chapter of the notebook closed out, you can turn around and find the zebra inside of the kind of clothing shop at the back. Their name is Carlos. Carlos, like all of the characters, will have quite a lengthy conversation, and we will just choose the simple things at the top. The first one, you're going to ask him about the night in question. Then you can ask him about the wizard. And at some point in the conversation, he will bring up party hats, which you just happen to already have, thanks to this amazing guide, which you should definitely like on YouTube. Give him the party hat, and in exchange, he will give you 1 more money. Also, because he likes you so much, he will also give you a rug, which is another item that you can grab from him. This should also be adding the rug to your notebook, and you'll get a page devoted to Carlos in your notebook, which you'll want to get through and then close. Now, the next thing we can do is a little bit of a funny Easter egg. Once you put down the notebook, talk to Carlos again. Carlos has a couple of naughty photos that he's willing to sell to you. They happen to cost 3 money, which is the exact amount you have. Now, the reason this is a little bit of an Easter egg is because you will get interrupted by the developer of the game, which is named Grace, and she'll let you know that basically you have exactly enough money to do the full objective, and wasting your money on a naughty picture wouldn't actually allow you to beat the game. Luckily, she'll spot you the $3 and allow you to grab the Big Spender achievement. After getting that embarrassing achievement on your gamer tag forever, you can turn around and then go to the center stage where you can meet Naughty the dog. You just tried to buy pictures of them, you pervert. And then basically you want to exhaust all of the dialogue options with them, and that will culminate in allowing you to give them the rug that we just got from Carlos. Once you get through the conversation, they will give you some building supplies, which we will need. They'll also give you 1 more money, and then you can fill out your notebook with their information. We're getting closer and closer here. If you've been paying attention to your notebook, you'll know that the person in need of the building supplies is Ralph the Lion. So let's go and have a conversation with them. Give them the new item you have, which is the building supplies. They will use it to then build something off camera and reward you with the 1 money they promised. Additionally, they'll give you a secondary item like many of the others, which is the hook. After filling out the notebook, you can now take the hook to the second to last person here, which is Susan, across the road here. She'll need help fixing her sign, and you can give her the hook item in order to do that. And once she does that, she will reward you with your 5th piece of money. Completing the conversation here will also open up her house, but we are going to ignore that for now. Instead, turn to your right and let's go and talk to the rhino that we talked to earlier. Here you can give them the item, which is your 5 money. And after a little bit of dialogue, they will reward you with a phone number, which is one of the key pieces of things we need. You can then take that phone number back to Susan's house, which is now opened. Inside, there's really not a lot of things to do other than interact with the phone. Once you interact with the phone, make sure you call the mysterious number, and this should have a little bit of dialogue and a small cinematic for you. I'll rejoin you with commentary once it is all over. After talking to Barney, you'll input it automatically into your notebook. You can then close your notebook, exit the house, and turn towards the entrance, looking down on the ground to the right of the path to find the glasses. After getting the glasses, they'll immediately go into your book. And then we should go through all of the pages here. And the person we are going to suspect is Naughty. Once you've done that, feel free to close your book and then walk to the one building we haven't really interacted with. It's the building with the deer in the hot tub behind it. And interact with the doorknob here. This should start a little bit of a loading screen that'll put you right in. Once inside, walk forward and behind the boxes in order to find a wizard. Interact with them to make them disappear, and then you'll be able to go diagonally across the room to the other side to find them again, where they will disappear again. And then typically in video game fashion, third time is a charm, go diagonally across the room again to find them yet again. They will disappear each time, but on the final time, it will reveal a door that you'll be able to walk through, and it will take you down a long staircase where you will meet them at the bottom. This conversation is definitely on the longer end, spanning more than a minute, even if you go through as quickly as possible, but you'll notice that the conversation is about glasses, and eventually you'll be able to end the conversation and add the invisible wizard into your notebook. After the glasses are taken out of your notebook and you add a page for the invisible wizard, you will be kind of automatically brought out to a loading screen and then brought outside in front of the house, where you can proclaim to the people of the village that of course it was no one else but the evil guy who did it. This is a pretty important thing to choose, so make sure you choose it. And once you do that, there will be another group of dialogue boxes to tab through, and that will culminate in them deciding to throw a parade for you. And similar to the first part of the trilogy, the parade is a long song and dance cutscene that you can sit back, relax, and enjoy. This cutscene does last for over a minute, and then afterwards you'll be thrown into a loading screen, and once you come out of that loading screen, you will be rewarded with 2 achievements if you've been following along with the video. Once the cutscene ends, you will unlock the Fibber achievement for doing something that's not true, and you'll also unlock a second achievement called Expert Investigator for completing the entire notebook. We're not quite done yet with Case 2 or Chapter 2. There are a couple of more things we'll need to do, but first off, once those unlock, pick up the phone directly in front of you. Once you pick up the phone, you probably know the drill by now. Use the A button to tab through the conversation as quickly as you desire. The quicker the better if you're just looking for efficiency. This will lead to another loading screen, which then leads to a cutscene, which then leads to a loading screen, which then leads to a cutscene. And eventually you'll get a small little teaser trailer for case number 3 or chapter number 3, however you want to call it. And then that will bring you back to the main menu. But we will need to load up into case 2 again to grab an achievement that we kind of missed on our first time through. So I'll rejoin you with commentary here in just a minute or two once we get back to the main menu, once this fully plays out. I know we are a decent chunk of the way into the video, but this is where one of the first major time savers will happen for us. Once back at the main menu, choose case 2 again. Once at the menu for the case, you can hold the left trigger, left bumper, and right bumper all at the same time for about a second or two, and this allows us to scene select so that we don't have to replay the entire case over again to get the other ending. As I said, we are doing the other ending here, so go through the dialogue, and since we lied about it the first time and chose that the evil guy did it, we are now going to tell the truth in order to get the snitch achievement. And to get that, we have to choose Lola did it in the conversation here. Even in this other ending where you blame someone completely different, it will still result in a party, and that is the same party scene as the one we saw before it, lasting a couple of minutes. This is not something I typically do in my achievement walkthroughs, but just to save a little bit of time, I'm going to cut out a minute or two of cutscene, which will then bring us straight back to a loading screen. That'll then boot us into another menu, and then the snitch achievement will unlock. With the snitch achievement unlocked, we can then pause the game, go to save and quit, and we can start working on the next case, which is case 3. If you are interested in doing a quick achievement check, we are at 12 out of 18 for 600 out of 1,000, but chapter 3 is going to fly by very quickly in comparison to these previous ones. As soon as we load into Chapter 3, hold the left trigger, left bumper, right bumper again. This should bring up your scene select. We're going to choose Scene 2. This will open up additional scenes inside of there, and we're going to choose the Hello Lobster Cop scene. Once gaining control of your character, walk forward, and this should trigger a little bit of a cinematic. Once possible, you can just scrub through the dialogue as quickly as you can. The dialogue will culminate with you getting a notebook, and then once you get the notebook, the conversation will end. You'll regain control of your character, and once you open and close that notebook, you'll get an achievement to unlock as well. Once you close the notebook and get rid of that, you can walk forward towards the chapel, press the Y button to hop on the coolest mode of transportation, which is a scooter, and basically you're going to try to get into the kind of graveyard here by jumping up on the hill and trying to jump over the fence. If done correctly, you'll get the graveyard break-in to unlock. You can then head back into town and head into the kind of saloon nearest the graveyard. In the saloon, there is the person behind the desk who is named Bonnie, and you'll want to talk to Bonnie and exhaust all of the possible dialogue options. I believe it will culminate in you getting some money, and then you'll be able to walk away from this conversation and fill out your notebook. Also, if you read the notebooks as you fill them out, there's some pretty good jokes hidden in there that you can spend some time reading if you want a good giggle. After filling out the notebook, go and interact with the photos on the left-hand side wall, starting with the one kind of near the bottom right-hand side. After that one, you can look up and find a second one, which is, I believe, a bull in front of a sun. The third one underneath that is, I believe, the alligator in front of a cave that is closed, or in front of some sort of tunnel. Up near the top left-hand side, you can find a dude standing next to a cactus. And in the bottom left-hand corner, you can find one more animal. Make sure you interact with that photo as well. After interacting with all 5 of the photos, you can put your controller down for the next 20 seconds or so, and you'll be greeted with a little bit of a cutscene where one of the ghost photos is automatically filled at the top of the kind of collage on the wall. Once that haunted photo spawns, as you see it here, and you regain control of your character, just select the photo and you'll be able to grab the haunted photo off of the wall and put it in your inventory. With possession of the photo, turn around and find Pistol the Panda. I believe he's the sheriff of this town. And here you'll be able to talk to them and just go through their conversations. One of the points of conversation is amuse. And then after you select that, you'll be able to give them the haunted photo, which completes this kind of quest line, unlocking the achievement related to the haunted photo. And then once that achievement unlocks, you can pause the game, save, and quit to go back to the main menu where we will be using scene select again. So here you're about to see the achievement unlock, and as soon as it does, you can save and quit. When it asks you if you are sure, press yes. Then what we can do is head back to the main menu here for the third chapter. Hold the left trigger, left bumper to bring up that scene select again. And this time you want to choose scene 5, Monkey in the Office. Now, pretty much instantaneously as you load in, you'll grab the monkey achievement, which is for finding a new playable character. But more importantly and more funny is the fact that you can then go through the door directly in front of you, and you'll be able to find an ingredient here, which is the clue detecting powder. You then want to use this powder by pressing A, and you want to grab the powder and walk towards the door on the opposite side of the hall. And you'll want to spray this detecting powder on the frog, on the lobster, and on the supervisor. This will reveal some kisses on the paintings, unlocking the kiss achievement. And as soon as that unlocks, you can then save and quit again to be brought back to the main menu. You probably know the drill here. Only one thing left, which is to hold the left bumper, left trigger, right trigger, and then go to scene select and choose the sad ending. Now, before you close this tab and leave me to end this video all alone, I would really appreciate if you drop a like on the video, consider sharing it with a friend. Feel free to take the extra step to go above and beyond. If you want to support the channel, you can do so through Patreon and Super Thanks. A special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. But as soon as we load in, we will get the sad ending achievement. And if you check, you will have all 1000 Gamerscore available to you now. You will then be greeted by the credits of the game, which will show you all of the lovely people who worked on it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you soon. Peace.